Welcome to ACC Student Interview. I'm your host, Trey, and I'm here with occupational therapist, Veronica Blackmon.
Victoria.
Victoria. My
Yes,
bad.
That's fine.
Victoria.
I get Veronica all the time.
Victoria, right?
It's fine.
Okay. What inspired you to become an occupational therapist?
I enjoy helping people. I enjoy helping people become independent, and then working with kids. I enjoy helping them reach their milestones.
Mm. Why did you choose to work with children?
Just because kids are so precious,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's vital for kids to be able to hit their milestones as they grow up. So just being able to be a part of that and educating the parents and things like that.
What are those milestones that you speak of? What is that?
Fine motor, gross motor skills, writing, dressing, brushing their teeth, washing their face, the little things that some people take for granted.
Right. Okay. Can you walk us through a typical day and what that looks like working with kids?
So a typical day, usually I have intervention plan. So it's like a day before I get in there, I have like different goals that each kid have to meet. So if I'm working one specific goal with a kid and they need help with fine motor, which is writing skills. Mm-hmm. So basically I'll go over, bring like fun activities, like as far as like crayons, or even like if they need help with scissors. So I'll bring those in and see if they're ready for those goals. But if not, I can always go back to the beginning stages of getting them to pick up like fine things off the floor, like beads or toothpicks and things like that, and that helps build the fine motor skills.
Okay, interesting. What are some common challenges you face that occupational therapists can help with, or children? What challenges do children face that you help with?
Some of the common challenges kids struggle with are fine motors, writing skills, being able to verbalize their needs and wants, being able to dress themselves, being able to regulate themselves. Some kids have behavior issues and they don't know how to calm themselves down. So those are some of the things I work with children with.
Okay. Can you share a memorable success story where therapy made a significant difference in a child's life?
Yes, I probably had quite a few, but this one is...
Do share.
I have a kiddo, I had a client that he had autism, and basically he was nonverbal. So one day we were playing an activity with his mom, and actually I was with him for almost a year, and he never said mama. So this day we were playing with balloons. So we was playing an activity like it's balloon volleyball. So he hits the balloon back and forth. So as we're doing, it focuses on hand-eye coordination. So as he's trying to get the balloon out of nowhere, he just said mama.
Oh, wow.
And his mom started crying, and it was just an amazing moment to witness that, because she felt that she would never hear him say mama ever, but that day he did. It was exciting.
How did you feel?
I felt good because it makes me feel good because I'm a part of that journey.
Right.
Me being able to help and be the push that the kids need to help get the greatness out of them that they already have.
And you feel like you experienced that a lot with this?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years, working with kids for 5 years, so yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. With parents and teachers to ensure children continue developing their skills outside of therapy, how do you?
So usually I go over the goals that I'm working with the children in therapy, and then I ask them what are some things that they want to implement, so I can guide them like how to maneuver through things at home or in the classroom. So usually I give them my goals, and then I give them activities that's easy and fun for them to follow. And then if they have any questions, I'll tell them they can email me or contact me, and we can go over it. Or if it doesn't work for them at the time, we can go and rearrange and come up with different goals to help with those tasks.
What type of like at-home examples would you like recommend, or like most common?
So the most common movements is important. A lot of people take movement for granted. So in order for a kid to learn, they have to have movements. They have to be able to kick a ball. They have to learn how to jump, because all those things they're doing, they're regulating their body so they can sit down and learn new activities. So movement, like doing a fun obstacle course, pulling together 2 chairs and having them to crawl underneath the chairs, and having a pop-up tunnel, having them to crawl through the tunnel, or even having an indoor trampoline. All those things are great, because a lot of parents forget the importance of movements, and they expect kids to sit down constantly, but they're not wired like that. They need the movements.
Right, a lot of hands-on stuff, you
A
would say?
lot of hands-on, a lot of movement.
Okay. What are some of the most effective techniques or activities you use to engage in children's therapy?
Obstacle course, pretend play, music, anything that's fun to keep them engaged. Because if you come in and you sit there and you try to do, okay, I need you to do this activity, they're not gonna follow. They're not gonna want to do it. So it's like a lot of pretend, you just have to meet the kids where they're at, but you have to make sure they're little people. So you have to be creative with them, and you have to make it fun, because if it's not, they're not gonna want to do it.
I feel you. How do you adapt to your approaches for different children needs, such as those with autism or sensory processing disorders?
So with dealing with kids with different needs, especially, they all have different sensory profiles. So sometimes a kid may need to be in a quiet place and they can't do certain activities that I need them to do, or their parents. That's because of the environment. Sometimes you have to switch up the environment, so you have to make it either less noisy, quiet, or even sometimes play soft music in the background, or even sometimes making sure they have movement breaks, like where they can go out and kick a ball, or they can go to the park. So I try to just give different tools like that, and do different things like that for each kid, because every kid is different. So I may can do an obstacle course with one kid, but another kid, it may be fearful for them. So I have to do something smaller, as far as like blowing bubbles and singing along, singing happy if you're happy, you know it, things like that. So every kid is different. So it all depends on what I see when I walk in working with a kid.
How do you build that relationship to know what works best for them?
Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it's not going to happen the first visit or the second visit. Sometimes it could, but you have to build that trust by letting them know they're safe and it's okay, and you're here to make sure everything is fun for them.
How has occupational therapy evolved over the years, and where do you see it heading in the future?
I feel like occupational therapy used to be strict from what I know back then. But now with the kiddos, I feel like it's beginning to be more fun, because it's play-based. And it's a lot of different facilities that's opening up that knows like how important it is for play-based and movement and pretend play. So I feel like that's a good thing. And then I feel like it's going to be more integrated with technology, because a lot of kids nowadays, like with autism, some kids are nonverbal, so they use different devices, and so I feel like it's changing for the better.
Okay. Do you do this program like after school or during school? Like when you usually have these type of programs?
So I work at I'm contracted. I work at an ABA facility for kids with autism. So I work Monday through Friday. So usually I'm at work from 8, sometimes to 5. But it depends. My schedule usually fluctuate. So I work Monday through Friday with children.
What advice would you give to parents who might consider occupational therapy for their child?
Start at the beginning when they're young, when you first start seeing the signs, when you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you, oh, they may have some delays in their milestones. It's start now, ask as many questions as you can, and no question is a wrong question or a bad question, because you have to be the advocate for your child.
What would you recommend for people that don't usually go out to the doctor, that just like think is this?
No, I feel like that's the most important part, is taking your kids to the doctor's appointment, because that's where they can recommend therapy for you. Because you can't just say, oh, my kid needs therapy. No, you have to go to the doctor, get a referral, and then they have to get evaluated to make sure they're appropriate for the program.
Okay. Thanks for listening. That's all we have for this interview. I'm your host, Trey, and thank you for your time. Victoria, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.